Hello students of grade 10, my name is Ms. Nisha Bamfield and we will be focused on office administration for today. In today's topic, we'll be looking at factory, the dispatch and transport offices. Our objectives for today are to outline the importance of the factory or the works control office, to show the relationship of the factory office with other departments, and to list the functions of staff in the factory. According to the Merriam-Webster's dictionary, factory is a station where factors reside and trade, a colonial factory. 2. A building or set of buildings with facilities for manufacturing. B. The seat of some kind of production, the vice factories of the slums. The importance of the factory, works control office. The purpose of the factory office is to coordinate the activities of the production process to allow for maximum efficiency and to make quality products in the required quantities. The size of the factory office is generally determined by the manufacturing or production activities that takes place in a company. In a large company, there is usually a production department managed by a production manager who oversees manufacturing of articles, organization and management of the factory, factory and production planning, dispatch and transportation, stockroom, and the maintenance of good office services. Now let us look at the relationship of the factory office with other departments. The factory office and the sales department. It is important for the factory office to maintain a close relationship with the sales office so that when orders are made, the sales department can check carefully and present to the accountant for clearing or verification and credit worthiness. Sales invoices are then prepared, after which copies are sent to the dispatch and transport section of the factory office for processing. The factory office and the purchasing department. It is the responsibility of the purchasing department to obtain tools and materials for the factory. Therefore, the factory office clerk must be in constant dialogue with the purchasing department, reporting on the status of these. If the factory experiences difficulty in obtaining constant supplies of raw materials from its suppliers, the progress chasing clerks work diligently with the purchasing department to locate the materials or to find suitable substitutes. The aim is to keep the production line going, thus ensuring the customer have continued supplies of the commodity. The factory office and the stockroom. The stockroom is essential to the production department, as items produced must be carefully stored away until they are ready to be dispatched to various customers. Raw materials as well need to be stocked in sufficient quantities so that the production process is not jeopardized. The factory office and the human resource department. This department is responsible for recruitment, selection, orientation, and introduction of workers, as well as their welfare and ongoing training. The factory office and the accounts department. The accounts department must be involved in the estimating, costing, and general budgeting activities for goods production. A factory office clerk must, in some cases, record factory workers' hours of regular and overtime work, and the information be passed on to the accounts department for payment to be prepared. Question. The purpose of the factory office is to do all of the following except A. Coordinate the activities of the production process. B. Coordinate activities to allow for maximum efficiency. C. To make quality products in the required quantities. Or D. To meet the demands of customers. Now, if you have indicated D, then that is correct. The purpose of the factory office is not to meet the demands of the customers. Rather, it is to produce enough quantities so that the customers can have. Functions of the factory office. Number 1, organization of production activities. The major function of the factory office is the organization of production activities. This is because the office brings together production principles and processes, production staff, production procedures, production materials, machinery and tools, company policies and objectives, as well as statutory rules and regulations in the creation of articles for consumption. The office, therefore, has responsibility for planning and supervising all types of manufacturing, maintaining suitable procedures for the control of production, maintaining an appropriate level of discipline in the factory, maintaining an excellent transportation system, suggesting ways in which improvements can be made, and F, maintaining the factory, that is, power supply, plant, equipment or machinery, or tools and buildings. Number 2, implementation. Production planning is just one major function of manufacturing goods. Implementation requires the control of various activities. The 2 important activities are A, instructing supervisors with regard to what is to be produced and when production is to commence. B, discussing the method of how production is to be utilized. For example, batch production, the making of a number of similar items at the same time. Example, a batch of an item is produced for a week and then the production team moves on to something else. Mass or flow production. This involves the production of large quantities of goods to cater to a mass demand. Clothing, shoes, and cars are usually mass produced. This method is referred to as an assembly line operation. One-line production. From time to time, factories sign contracts with customers for the production of single, non-repeated products, as well as a few articles of a similar design. For example, a piece of furniture or a piece of artwork. Question. Factory workers are responsible for operating machinery, feeding products into the production line, they monitor the machines, raising any issues with their manager, controlling and adjusting machine settings. A, 1 and 2 only. B, 1 and 4 only. C, 1, 2, and 5 only. Or D, all of the above. If you've indicated D, all of the above, that is correct. Let us now turn our attention over to the functions of the factory worker as it relates to their responsibilities and duties. These are to gather raw resources for processing, measuring, mixing, or cooking raw materials, control automated process and temperature for making products, check quality of product and record exact results at definite times of production process, operate and maintain machines, inspecting and packing final product, ensure to clean and sterilize plant processing area, operate machinery to produce textiles, washing or blending wool, cloth, or yarn, inspect quality of various products, spinning wool and other fibers, participate in dyeing or bleaching, pressing, stretching, or waterproofing materials at factory, involved in mixing and cooking dairy product ingredients, molding and shaping dairy product, Monitor maturity time and collect samples of products. Test samples of dairy product and operating machinery for packaging dairy product. Perform parts cutting, sewing, and gluing pieces together for various products. Conduct spraying leather with finishing treatments or leather dye. Perform in an assembly and manufacturing environment to operate machine inflating, molding, or cutting airbags as specified. And inspect plastic visually to detect imperfections and packaging product when completed. Students, we have come to the end of today's lesson on factory as it relates to the dispatch and transport office. Thank you for having me. My name is Ms. Nisha Bamfield.